He was in the Marine Corps in the late 1950s. Defected to the Soviet Union. He was a radar operator. He received training in how to speak the Russian language. Why would a radar operator receive training in how to receive and how to speak the Russian language proficiently? Also, there is a document that has recently been uncovered that proves that Lee Harvey Oswald was working for the Office of Naval Intelligence at the time, around the time of the assassination, around that time. So pretty much, he was the low man on the totem pole. He was a patsy. He was just the guy that they pointed fingers to in the end, so the big guys could get away with it. And he was an easy scapegoat because for all these years he embraced communism, which at that time in American history, embracing communism was pretty much a death wish. He embraced communism. He defected to the Soviet Union, married a Russian woman, came back to the United States. So seeing this and all these particular, points in this scenario of Lee Harvey Oswald's time in the military and time receiving orders from the Office of Naval Intelligence, it would make sense why they would choose him to be the patsy. He'd be a believable target. He was known for his left-wing communist beliefs, and pretty much he was not. He was just an average guy. He was 23 years old at the time. You're 23, right? Mm-hmm. I'm 21, so he was pretty much our age at the time. So it's pretty much as if they put the blame on you or I. That's pretty much what it was. A young guy who had all this history of the Soviet Union, a believable target, believable scapegoat. There you go. And Oswald even said when he was in the police station, "I'm just a patsy. I didn't shoot anyway. I'm just a patsy." It seems kind of odd he'd say, "I'm just a patsy," if that's a very distinct statement to make. How do I word this? If there was no conspiracy whatsoever, and he didn't have any involvement, he'd just say, "I didn't do it. I don't know what you're talking about. You have the wrong man." But saying, "I'm just a patsy," that's hinting at a bigger conspiracy all around. And that's what Oswald was. And I find it to be very convenient that Lee Harvey Oswald got shot in the belly by Jack Ruby right when he was being transferred from the police station to the jail. Very convenient that happened. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, because they were afraid of him talking and squealing. So, seeing all this and looking at it and seeing how it all played out, it all seemed very convenient and very, very odd. The timing of everything seemed very odd. That's probably something I could, if I read more, if I were to go back and look at the documents I read previously and refresh my memory on it, I could probably give you more and more detail on it. But that's the gist of it, is seeing all those points. And another thing regarding the Kennedy assassination, the physical shooting itself, was the way Kennedy's head snapped back, and the way the entire back part of his skull came flying off with brain matter going on the back of the car. We see in the Zapruder film, I'm sure you've seen the Zapruder film, right?
Minor parts.
It's only about 20 seconds long. It's the motorcade. All right. Well, pretty much Abraham Zapruder was standing in front of the grassy knoll at the time of the shooting. He was filming the motorcade coming down Dealey Plaza. And in the film, we see Kennedy's head snap back and to the left, back and to the left, back and to the left. We see his head clearly snap back in a jerking motion like that. Like I said, blowing off his skull, having his brain matter go on the back of the limousine. In the film, we see Jacqueline Kennedy reaching for her husband's brain matter, which had clearly just come out from the back of his head. She was reaching to get this. Okay, so that being said, the Texas School Book Depository, at the time of the shooting, was behind the motorcade. It was pretty much back here. So how would Lee Harvey Oswald manage to pull off that shot, to blow off the back of Kennedy's skull, if he's shooting him from the back? How would he manage to pull that off? If Kennedy's head snaps back into the left, blowing off the back part of his skull and several pieces of brain matter, how would Lee Harvey Oswald, who was at a completely different angle, at a fairly sizable distance, how would he be able to make that shot from there, causing the injuries, the fatal injuries that Kennedy suffered? That being said, the grassy knoll where Abraham Zapruder was standing right in front of was in the perfect location for the bullet to go into his head and for those fatal injuries to occur. That shot was perfect at that angle, grassy knoll. And in fact, several individuals have reported hearing shots from that area and seeing smoke from that area. And several of the individuals who were at Dealey Plaza that day died mysterious deaths. The ones who testified that they heard shots or saw or had reason to believe that there was another shooter at the grassy knoll. Which pretty much, by having another shooter, that means that it was a conspiracy, which means that by having more than one person involved, there was an entire field of people involved in this. But it all comes back to the forensics of it all. How did the back portion of his skull come flying off? How did brain matter come flying out if the bullet came from back here? It's not possible. It's physically not possible. And then again, the Zapruder film, to add on to this, the Zapruder film was not released until 1975. It was such a big deal. Why'd they wait 12 years to show the film? Because the Warren Commission came out and said came up with the magic bullet theory, which Arlen Specter, who was the late Arlen Specter, former senator of PA, came up with. Which I can't even tell you the way the magic bullet went. All I can tell you is just how much bullshit it is. The one bullet circled around and got Governor Conley, got Kennedy. No, it didn't work that way. I mean, magic bullet, how could Lee Harvey Oswald be in possession of a magic bullet to shoot the president from that angle? It's not fucking possible. So you just have all these little occurrences and factors that just stick out like a sore thumb that ultimately, to me, prove that there was an overarching conspiracy with the assassination of John F. Kennedy. To say that it was one person and to say the shots were fired by Lee Harvey Oswald from the Texas School Book Depository is stupidity. Straight fucking stupidity. Seeing as how, like I said, the fatal injuries that were inflicted, and seeing as how the police officer and Oswald's boss saw Oswald in the break room drinking a Coke casually 90 seconds later. I don't know any athlete, any runner, anybody who could run down several flights of stairs in 90 seconds, catch their breath, put money in a soda machine, get a Coke, and just casually be sipping on it within that amount of time. You know?
Makes sense.
And plus the officer and the Oswald's boss even said that he just seemed very calm and nonchalant whenever they saw him in there. But then Oswald was not totally innocent though. You know, he did gun down a cop later that day, J.D. Tippit. But it's my theory that Tippit was also in on the conspiracy as well. And that Tippit was the one who was assigned to arrest Oswald as the patsy. And Oswald knew they were coming for him, so he gunned down Tippit and hid in the movie theater. That's one of my theories on the assassination and the arrest of Oswald. And then, yeah, and then like I said earlier, Jack Ruby oddly getting cancer right after he goes to prison for killing Lee Harvey Oswald. It seems kind of peculiar to me as to why he just all of a sudden came down with cancer. You know, the government injected him so they could kill Jack Ruby, so it would prevent him from telling anybody else about the plot. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But that's something.
As a matter of fact, Foster, you know too much.
I do? Oh, yeah. Oh, shit, man. Man who knew too much. That's the first time somebody's ever said I know too much in my entire life.
Oh, well, hey, I tell you.